The royal herticord had been waiting outside for nearly an hour. "I know you don't like needles," Blue said, not unkindly, "but you have to have it done. And you have to have it done now, otherwise they'll still be itching at your coronation. You can't have the new purple emperor scratching through the ceremony. People will think you have fleas." "I could use a healing spell," Pyrgus said. "You could pull yourself together," Blue told him shortly. "You've sent that poor man away twice already. Just grit your teeth and get it over with." "Oh, all right," Pyrgus said with bad grace. He nodded to the footman, standing like a statue by the door. "Show him in." The footman swung the door open with a flourish. "Sir Archibald Buff Arches," he announced loudly. "The royal herticord." The man who strode in reminded Blue a little of her old enemy, Jasper Chalkill. He was overweight and had a taste for extravagant clothing. He was wearing a shot silk robe woven with illusion spells so that misty nymphs swam through its folds. But that's where the resemblance ended. His eyes showed he was no fairy of the night, and he walked with purpose. Two wiry helpers manoeuvred in a trolley spread with multicoloured pots, several bottles, and a tray that displayed Pyrgus's dreaded needles. The herticord bowed formally to Pyrgus. "Your Imperial Majesty," he acknowledged. He turned to Blue and made a lesser bow. "Your Serene Highness." She noticed he had very delicate hands. They were rather beautiful. "My brother's ready for you," Blue said quickly, before Pyrgus could change his mind. Pyrgus gave her a dirty look, but had obviously decided to go through with it. He turned to Buff Arches with exaggerated dignity. "I'm in your hands, herticord. Let's get it over with." The two helpers were busying themselves opening jars and bottles and laying out a range of gleaming instruments beside the needles. Blue saw Pyrgus turn a little green. The trolley looked as if they were preparing for major surgery. "I expect His Majesty would like to know his options," Buff Arches said briskly. Pyrgus stared at him, and Blue's instincts told her that if her brother was going to chicken out at all, this would be the moment. But all he said was, "Options? Yes, I'd like to know my options." "Traditionally," said Buff Arches, "the tattoos are done without anaesthetic or magical intervention of any sort, save for a small transfusion, should royal blood loss exceed 2 pints in any single hour." "Blood loss?" Pyrgus squeaked. 2 pints an hour?" "No, it seldom reaches anything approaching that amount," Buff Arches said easily, "unless, of course, one happens to sever an artery when preparing the royal transposition." "The royal transposition?" Pyrgus echoed. Blue moved nonchalantly a little closer, in case he fainted. "A deep tissue sample used to gauge the effect of the dyes. A safety precaution in case of allergic response. I tattoo the sample first, with a picture of a bee. Then, if there's no reaction, we proceed with the formal illustration of Your Majesty's body. The tissue sample is normally taken from the royal buttocks." Blue fully expected Pyrgus to protest. She certainly would have. A tissue sample of that sort meant you couldn't sit down for a week. But all Pyrgus said was, "Why a bee? Why do you tattoo the sample with a bee?" "I haven't the slightest idea," Buff Arches said. "It's simply the specified picture, specified by tradition, you understand." He watched Pyrgus for a moment, as if expecting further questions, then said abruptly, "But I was explaining your options. As I say, the traditional way involves no anaesthetic or magical intervention, but one of your illustrious ancestors, Emperor Scolitandis the Weedy, decreed that henceforth